Welcome to the Beacon by Soul 33 teachings for your past, present and future. Good morning, everyone. It is the 10th of July here in Auckland, New Zealand. Very rainy, stormy Auckland, New Zealand. If you're listening to this on the Beacon app or on YouTube or on Spotify, please like, share, tag, let people know that these 20-minute energy forecasts to progress your soul are available for your consumption, for you to be able to heal yourself, to live with purpose, understanding what life is asking of you. When you share and let people know, it really helps me to be able to put out more resources for you, to keep building on the app. Remember, it's only $60 per year. There are no other apps in the world where there is a sought-after healer and medium doing this for you. I'm the one that uploads these. I'm the one that records them, does the meditations for you. So your support helps me grow and helps me help you progress. So, my God, what a week it was last week. I had just the strangest week, and I know a lot of you did too. I found it really interesting because a lot of you were asking for emergency mini readings because I wasn't available for emergency sessions because I was booked. But it was really fascinating. People needing urgent advice now. And so as we look through the week, and I always like to do a recap. Now, what you need to do with these Monday mantras is listen a few times a week. You may even want to go back to previous weeks and listen. Everything tells a story. I'm here to tell you a story about your soul. I'm here to tell you a story about what you need to learn energetically in a very practical way. Those of you who know me, yes, I'm spiritual and gifted, but I'm also very practical and grounded. Last week, your Monday mantra was, I focus on my personal priorities and creations. I focus on my personal priorities and creations. We had the supermoon. So things were coming up about a week before the supermoon. And then during the week of the supermoon, do you know what I was finding? The energy of betrayal. Now, this was coming in through clients, for myself, past life stuff, and it was in all forms. It wasn't just intimate relationships. It was betrayal with women, like women friendships or women interactions. It was betrayal in friendships. It was betrayal from being triggered by issues that you've got in terms of fearing that you're going to be betrayed. It was really, really interesting because, there was a stir up last week. Like, I was actually sick again. When I told you guys about 5 weeks ago I was ill, I got sick again. And it was the week of coming back to my personal priorities, which is coming back to yours. And so the stir up of disconnection is being cleared in order to reconnect and find our link back to ourselves, back to our power. And all of these emotions that come up for us, the horrible ones, the ones that make us feel unstable, the ones that make us feel like we're going to lose trust in life, that nothing's working out, these can be perceived as negative, but it's actually power. That's where the power is to transform. It's just some people like to stay in that victim energy because woe is me, and some people want to use it as service in terms of progression. Taking downtime last week was going to be important wherever you could get it, whether it was an hour or whether it was the whole week or a few days, because our personal priorities are coming back into alignment. So things that you didn't even think needed to be prioritized were being prioritized. Like for me, my health for the first couple of days of last week. And then it was other things that were coming up, and I was finding relationships were coming up a lot. They were bonding where they were broken, or they were breaking apart by some other external factors to find some connection back, transitions into stronger foundations, stronger connections. And it was all coming back to, what are my personal priorities? Nurturing the things that you want to grow, where things have been neglected, Like you might be thinking, oh, I'm in the flow, everything's wonderful, and and then something happened, or someone said something, or someone did something, and then you were like, oh my God, I haven't nurtured that part of myself, or haven't nurtured that part of that relationship, or there was energy leaking out into this part of something, and I needed to bring it back because I can't control where it's leaking out. So if you are in a relationship, what was going on for you last week? And if you are not, also what was going on with you last week in terms of how you're feeling about not being in a relationship. And really think about that, because what are your personal priorities around that? So I had an interesting experience last week, which I'll keep vague because there were other people involved. Now, I'm not a very social person. Yes, I talk a lot for my work and I talk on these podcasts for you, but I am someone that can just be in silence for long periods of time and not need to talk to anyone. I'm also not very social, and that is because I do not like being in people's energy all the time, and it's not their fault because I pick things up, and also I just like being with people that I know and that bring me joy. I was in a social situation last week, a very, very rare experience for me, and there was an interaction with someone that I don't know very well. Now, I've met this person on another occasion before, and when I left, I knew that I didn't really want to be around this person ever again. And I'm telling you this as advice, spiritual advice, and also just in general for you to know. When you leave someone in any type of situation, friendships especially or whatever, you will know what that person is like by how you feel when you've left them. Like, do they make you feel tired? Do they make you feel depleted? Do they make you feel drained? This person was exceptionally insecure, therefore my healing powers drew that out of this person, and this person said things to me that doesn't even know me, that were very distressing about me when that person doesn't even know me. And so I actually had to leave, and I was very upset. And I was upset because I knew that this person has an issue with me being me, didn't like me being who I am, and wanted to bring me down. And it was very interesting for me because what it did was brought me back to my personal priorities, and it strengthened in the coming days afterwards everything that I know to be true about my first interaction with this person, that I don't want to be around this person ever again, but also that this person helped me too. They brought something out in me that needed to be addressed, and that was the wonderful gift about it. So when things are bursting at the seams, it is because you are needing to bring your attention to it, to nurture the things that you want to grow. The parts of us that have felt rejected, consciously or unconsciously, where we've been disconnected, where we need deepening of connection, you and me included, all need the courage to stop those distractions and get back into the energy of connection and discerning very carefully what we want. And I made, like, my discernment now of what I want going forward is very, very clear from the interesting experiences that I had last week that happened for me. So we can look at distressing situations as like, oh my God, it's horrible, and oh my poor me, can I ever trust again? And, am I being questioned? Or we can go, I don't like that feeling of that. I'm going to set some boundaries around it, but thanks, because it's actually brought up something that I need to clear and decide what I'm going to do going forward. So as we move through the week, the Third Eye Accurate Sight card came up because I pulled that for the day, and it's a Wednesday that I pull it in New Zealand. So that'll be a Tuesday if you're listening to this in the Northern Hemisphere. And the message is, what is it that you want to create? You may be feeling it, sensing it, or seeing it. Things are changing, and you're being asked to see where you need to stop and focus. Change is always daunting, but it is required for growth in this lifetime. So your safety is in the change. Safety is not in just staying the same, because that's just keeping you safe and not allowing growth. It's preventing your wings from spreading. Trust your knowing, trust your feelings in the heart and within the mind's eye. What you see is what you're needing to address. Like on the way to this social thing, I already knew, my psychic brain was going, someone's going to bring this topic up with you and you're going to have to address it. But it still shocked me because I wasn't in a working situation. I was in a social situation and I had to go, oh, how do I respond to this person that's releasing their insecurity to me, but using me as the subject of the insecurity? Because what Spirit was showing me is that there's energy stuck where you still might not be feeling safe, and this needs to come out to anchor your safety. So then that third eye accurate sight card came up. It's because you must accept certain things have happened, because a lot of people, most people are in denial. Or denial like 90% of their life or on certain topics. And when we accept things, this has happened this way, it actually helps us to be able to find the truth, to change, and then to focus. So I was really, really excited to be able to share the podcast interview that I was invited on as a guest by Frank Elleridi. Now, Frank is a 4-time Emmy Award-winning journalist. This man has won the most prestigious awards that you can in his line of work. He started a podcast called Quite Frankly. I flew to America to be interviewed by him. And this man has interviewed people for his podcast like Sri Ravi Shankar, David Asprey, Doc Amen, Sadhguru, Deepak Chopra. And, this was a real privilege for me, an absolute privilege that I am this unknown person here in New Zealand, but soul progression therapy is making its way around the world on these platforms for people to know about the work that I do and the seriousness of it. So if you have not listened to the podcast, please do. You can search for Quite Frankly on Spotify, it's on YouTube and on Apple, and Frank Elleridi is the host of his show. He and I have become really good friends. That day, I'm going to share a little bit because on Instagram you can only say so much before you need to start writing in the comments, and I'm not going to do that because I never read anything in the comments anyway when posts are longer than what's allowed. But that day, me and my publicist rocked up to Hollywood Hills somewhere, and, Frank answered the door, we met each other, he took us around the premises, then we went in and we chatted for a bit, and he just looked at me and he said, "This is the least prepared I have been for an interview." He said, "I was interviewing," I don't know whether I can tell you, because I don't know whether that's been released yet. He was interviewing someone very, very famous that morning, and I was like this next nobody. So he had really prepared for that person, but not for me. And I said to him, I'm glad you haven't prepared for this. But obviously he's also a healer and sees clients. He does something very different from what I do. And so I said, I'm glad you don't know much about me. So if you watch the video, you will see Frank really, because he's a healer, understanding, wow, this girl actually does something that is very, very helpful for people. And so we chatted for a while, and then I got invited to his room, and I prepared myself for a session to give him. And he was so honest and open and vulnerable, as you would have seen at the end of the podcast when he shared his feelings about having a session with me. And from then, he's been referring a lot of his clients to me, and we've been getting, according to Kieran, a lot of emails. So, stay tuned, because there's more things coming, I think, that you guys will be excited about. So thank you for listening, and let people know that podcast exists, and share it and tag me and Frank, because the more people that know, the more that I can actually put things out for you to help you. So that was really exciting. So with the energy of last week, as we continued during the week, so obviously that was something for my soul priorities too, to have that release, because I didn't choose the release date, Frank and his team did. And what I was going to say is that after we did the session, me being me, I forget a lot. People think that I'm just thinking about them, but there's a lot of clients and there's a lot of emails that come through. And Frank took us out for lunch after that, and we spent the whole day together. And then Frank messages me almost every week now, just chatting, and he's just awesome, an awesome guy. So with that released, I knew there was this energy coming in around the 6th to the 8th of July, which is where those feelings of betrayal and things would have been coming up, because it's the energy of, we need to clear this so that new possibilities can come in, stronger foundations. So betrayal, anger, sadness, compromised health, the need for courage or big decision making, whatever it has been for you, is bringing you back to review your personal priorities, to build that connection again and nurture it. With all of that energy, with the solstice we've had in the weeks before, our possibilities had to be stacked up against what our personal priorities are, because what is possible when shit comes in our way to destabilize us? Because when we think we're stable and something comes in, we think, oh, this is a bad thing, but actually it is possibly freeing us to have even more. We may not have even really known what those priorities needed to be till we've been pushed to really see what is important now, what we have to heal and balance to have a stronger foundation. Now, this could have been anything from your health to your relationships. What was it for you? What do you have to decide on going forward? When I talk about, there's so many different avenues to my work. The people who have the best sessions with me are usually my soul ceremony clients, because they're usually flying in domestically or internationally. They are investing in that first tier of seeing me. They're coming and laying it all out on the table. They're not coming to me to read their palm or fortune tell or ask me what car they're going to buy or what they should do. They're coming for me to lead them based on what they need from their soul blueprint. Because I'm not a life coach, but I'm a soul coach, and I look deep into your soul to discover what you have done and where it could lead you if you don't step into your power and if you do. So my job isn't to tell you the future, and sure, a lot of that does come up, insight about it, and each and every time we meet, I'm going to be guided to progress your soul, lead you to meet yourself, to heal your soul and people around you, to speak up, to make decisions on things you did like hearing through me or things that trigger you. Triggers are amazing things, because they are like, oh my God, this is something that's finally able to be cleared, to come up to the surface. My job is to progress you for your healing, which means you start to encounter experiences and situations outside of not just with me. Once you've seen me and that is opened, you are going to start encountering amazing situations and situations that are going to make you become more aware. It will force you to look at what you need to, because spirit isn't silly. They know what they want you to feel to progress and break you out of old cycles. They do this to me. They do this to me all the time. They bring me the most amazing opportunities and experiences, but they also bring me challenges. And this is the power of the work that I do. And it's like everything that I encounter makes me address all my soul experiences, the good, the challenging, but it's for my liberation as it is for you. So when you see me, it's not about a box ticking exercise. Oh, that's happened. Oh, no, that hasn't happened yet. Just leave it alone. Instead, ask yourself, why would spirit say this to me? Why would they want to address this? The spirit's not going to tell us all the bad shit that's going to come up, because then we would just be afraid and never do anything. But the bad shit is actually not bad. It is stuff that needs to be cleared. So when we are waiting for things to happen, whether we know we're waiting for something or not, we are not holding space. We are giving our power away, because we're just sitting there going, oh, I'm just waiting. We're here to understand and be in the flow, which means embracing the horrible things that happen and going, right, why would Spirit tell me this? It's not even just with me and my presence. Why is Spirit telling me this? Every day, why is Spirit showing me this? Why did I have to have this experience? And it's not to analyze it to the point of where you're giving yourself a headache. It's to give you some sort of context around, okay, I've started this healing journey. This is really interesting that this is coming up. So as we move into this week's energy, remember, I am here for you. Things are getting very busy on my end as soul progression therapy is becoming internationally known. But there are many ways to see me. If you want to see me for your soul ceremony, these are very exclusive sessions with me in my home for people who are really serious. I know that we've got bookings for this for soul ceremonies even in January 2024 for people who are flying in from overseas who needed to plan early. So this is the way to go for those of you who are really, really serious. If you are wanting an Ascension Seeker spot, you can't get to me, or it's an affordability issue, Kieran will help you. That's not such a long wait list. The regular wait list, yes, it's long, but you just need to trust the timing. There are mini readings, which are 3 PDF questions. There are soul magics. Now, soul magics are spells, and you're going to get used to me being really honest about what I do. They are not bad things. I am not manipulating to make things happen. I am clearing and moving energy into alignment with what you want through my powers, but using universal energy. And I also provide you with a message of what I see when I'm doing that. Personalized meditations, amazing way to heal. I infuse energy into these so that you can progress your soul in your own time. Any of these services, Kieran is the person to go to. So soul33@gmail.com, or you can go to the website www.soul33.com if you're wanting to find out about other things that I do. So as we move into this week, we have got a week of holding space. I hold space for what I want to come in. I hold space for what I want to come in. So what does it mean to hold space? We want so many things. We can be in a smooth, undisrupted flow, and then stuff happens in between to trip us up, and then we fall down. But is it really a trip up when we actually need to find a pure form of stability and security, one that is not built on other people's actions, other people's opinions, or other people's intentions, but our own soul strength? Holding space this week could happen in many ways. You could be holding space for someone to talk to. Someone may be doing that for you, holding space for you. So those of you who are seeing me, you know that I'll be holding space for you. It may be that you want something and are acting towards it, but then step back into joy and trust to allow the space for whatever it is to come in. Collaborate with someone or something this week. Think outside of the box as to what it means to collaborate. Is it that you need to have more of a united front with what you do, or stick up for yourself? Collaboration, okay? So really think about that as you go through the week. Meeting up with your friends that make you feel good, that pull you up and hold space for your dreams to unfold and for you to be you. Friends that are people that are not insecure, people that are holding space in the nurturing environment that can help you heal by bringing joy into your life. Like for me this week, I've unexpectedly, there was one social event that I have got, which is someone I know very well that I haven't seen for a while, for many, many months. And then other things came up where really good friends that I'm seeing too, and I didn't plan those. They just happened over the weekend, like, hey, what are you doing this week? So these things will be cropping up in its own way for you. All that has been happening over the last month has been potent for our progress, even if it's felt like it's holding us up, like even being sick. It's not a holder. My immune system is strengthening up. I had to stop. I had to reevaluate. I had to do all of those things. They are to clear what is needed before more can come in. The knowledge that you have accumulated over the past week, really stop and think about it. Even if you feel like, oh, nothing much has happened. Something has, okay? And the deeper you are on your healing journey, the more weird stuff starts to happen. It's to solidify your intent and action. I've learned a lot in the last week about what I want, what I need to discern, what I need to focus on, and you need to focus on what you do want, not what you don't. If you've been needing to like save money, put money aside or time, now is the time to do that. That is a form of holding space. And you may be seeing people you haven't in a long time this week, bumping into people. And that is also holding space for relationships to grow and bond. Simplify life this week to nurture growth. Now, patience can be hard to exercise, but we do need to trust the timing and let nature take its course. Because as we hold space, it's not about giving up or not doing anything, but we're not sitting and waiting, but it's finding joy in the simplest things while divine order unfolds. Whew, that was all quite a mouthful today. So much happening for us. Your Monday mantra this week is I hold space for what I want to come in. I hold space for what I want to come in. Remember, soul ceremonies, ascension seekers, emergency sessions, which are not available right this moment, but if you put yourself on the list for emergency sessions, sometimes when I feel up to it, because remember, I'm only one person, there's only so much energy I can process. If I have the capacity, Kieran just emails you going, okay, you wanted an emergency session, Guy, I can slot you in. But there are so many other ways, like the mini readings and personalized meditations, soul magics, that are all things that can be done a lot sooner. I honestly am so proud of all of you that are here. I am so grateful for your support. I thank you for those who all reached out and sent messages about the podcast and that left messages on Frank's page or sent him private messages. Keep doing that, because remember, we're being courageous with talking about these things because they're not easy things to talk about. We're putting ourselves out there that are in a controversial way. And when you acknowledge that, especially someone like Frank, who is putting himself out there, taking a chance on me, it's really an amazing thing for you to support that and step out of your comfort zone. I hold space for what I want to come in. soul33@gmail.com or www.soul33.com. Don't forget to like, tag, share, subscribe, do all the things, do your meditations, your homework, and I'll be with you later on this week with more information to progress your soul.